Coming to question number 1. Governance is about managing self-organizing networks. Elaborate. So in this question, basically this is a question of last year, that is 2021 UPSC Mains Public Administration paper. Governance is about managing self-organizing networks. Elaborate. Here you can see I have given the directive is elaborate. When the directive is elaborate, you don't need to argue against the statement. What you need is just give some explanation. Give, you can say, examples if possible. Give some evidence to show that whatever given statement is to some extent true. That is what is the meaning basically. Now coming to keywords. Governance itself is a keyword, and then networks is a keyword. Self-organizing, you can say, is the description, and that can also be considered as, you can say, a keyword for this question. So there are 3 keywords and 1 directive. So how do you write an answer to this question? In introduction, you have to bring, you can say, why aspect of, you can say, the concept. Why means in public administration it is very important to, you can say, why is very important. In polity, basically what is important, what means, imagine there is a question about with regard to president. What does the president do? What powers does president have? This is polity. Why the president has been given these powers? Why the president has been made into a titular head in a country like India? The why aspect or the reasoning behind why a particular system is designed in this manner is public administration aspect. What aspect also needs to be written in public administration, but you will get more marks for why rather than what. So why aspect here, what would it be? Governance. Why governance? Network. Why network? So why governance and networks came into picture? So basically for this, what is the content? If you have attended classes or if you have studied so far, then you will know that governance is basically multi-actor paradigm. Multiple actors came together to solve a problem. Why did this happen? Because government failed in solving problems of people and providing goods and services. And why did that happen? Because after FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal macroeconomics, post-Great Depression in USA, the state became too big and it became inefficient with red tape and bureaucratic type of attitude. So this led to, you can say, failure of policies of government. And after that, public choice approach and, you can say, NPM, new public management, both of them, you can say, attacked the massive role of state, and they advocated for rollback of state, reducing the role of state, minimum government, maximum governance. So this is the paradigm that we have today. So you can see basically rollback of state, multi-actor paradigm. So because of this rollback of state, on one side rollback of state was happening, on the other side people's expectations were continuously increasing, because now we have exposure to, imagine you watch something on Netflix and you see the roads in Canada or US and you feel why they don't have this kind of roads in India. That means people's expectations are increasing, whereas the power of state is reducing. And in this mismatch, it needs to be addressed somehow. To address people's expectations, now the state alone is not sufficient. We need the market and we need maybe civil society. So all the actors coming together are able to solve this problem. Basically, in introduction, you cannot write all these things. I just explained the concept in a simple manner. In introduction, what do you write? You write basically governance came into picture because of rollback of state that was advocated by NPM and public choice approach. As state became smaller and people's expectations grew, this led to, you can say, other actors coming into picture to solve the problems of people like market and civil society. And this is basically governance. Over a period of time, even market and civil society were not enough, and we had to utilize every possible resource to solve some complex problems, and that is why a network of actors emerged. So network of actors means basically there are international agencies that will also participate. There are individual actors like volunteers who will participate. So this is called as a network. Anybody who is interested to solve the problem, everybody will coalesce into a network and they will try to solve the problem. So this is basically 2-3 lines of introduction, and after that you come into the body. And in body, you can say governance is about managing self-organizing networks. Yes, most of the, in most of recent actually instances, governance has been about managing this sort of a self-organizing network. In many of the schemes that we are implementing, both in, you can say, India and abroad. In paper 1, there is one small distinction here. In paper 1, you can give examples from abroad, international agencies, international aspects, what happened in Singapore, USA, Norway, etc. But in paper 2, focus more on, you can say, Indian examples, Indian type of, you can say, points as well. So here, I've given some examples here. For example, governance today means getting things done. Regardless of whether government is present within or not, governance means, you can say, solving the problem where multiple actors come together. For example, consider a Montreal Protocol at international level. They have all come together as, you can say, there is no government, world government which is governing all the component parts. They are all just people. This is governance without government. They are all just, you can say, countries, representative countries coming together, and they somehow help each other. And they, in Montreal Protocol, you can say, they succeeded in somehow closing the ozone hole that was created by CFCs. So that is one example. Then similarly in India, cleaning of river Ganga can be considered as an example of, you can say, governance as self-organizing network. Yes, in cleaning of river Ganga, actually at the central place there is government, and all the other actors. For example, 8 state governments are involved in cleaning of river Ganga. Along with that, UK government and German government is helping us to clean river Ganga. At the same time, there are, you can say, many volunteer organizations, Hindu religious groups are helping us. You can say they are all participating in cleaning river Ganga. Recently, I read about you can say, retired army personnel have created some sort of an organization, an NGO among themselves to participate in cleaning of river Ganga. That means there are probably hundreds of organizations that are all coalescing into a network for the same goal of cleaning river Ganga. So this means basically governance now is government is at the center and it is trying to get things done using this network. Here, you have to be mindful of one aspect as a conceptual aspect. Government, it does not have complete power over all the NGOs and everybody participating voluntarily. Government is just requesting them, you can do this, but it cannot always have coercive power over them. That is what differentiates a network from, you can say, normal Weberian bureaucratic hierarchy. Another local example I have given, Niti Aayog in its report has given about Kaikondrahalli Lake in Bangalore, where resident welfare associations of few apartments surrounding this lake, they have all come together to take complete ownership of the lake. They do Kere Habba once in a year, with which they will raise money and they will take care of the lake. Here government is not directly involved. It will just keep watch just to make sure everything is going on fine. It is still there as, you can say, final responsible body, but it is not involved in daily operations of the lake. So that is another example where governance is about managing, you can say, self-organizing network. Government here is managing, not directly operating, just making sure in case there is a failure here, government will come into picture. So it is managing a self-organizing network. Here self-organizing as a keyword is also important because they have come together by themselves and they have organized it themselves. Government has not created this structure. They have created it for themselves, and that is why they are self-organizing networks. So here, this is, you can say, the body. You can give a lot of examples like this, and you can also write points. Self-organizing here means they have all come together and they have tried to solve the problem. And in conclusion, you can say in most areas, government is still at the center managing these self-organizing networks to solve problems. But there are particular few areas where government is no longer in the picture at all, and still they have tried to solve the problems themselves. Like for example, many international organizations are there where tier 2 diplomacy or people without government, they have all come together to create some sort of international NGOs, and they are trying to solve particular problems. Or you can say Bhagidari system of Delhi is a very famous example in public administration, where citizens have come together to solve their own problems. They fix their own leaky pipes, or they pay, you can say, their own, you can say, watchmen to make sure the security in the area is proper. And if there is a breakage in the road, they will fix it themselves. So that means they have reduced pressure on government by trying to solve their own problems by coming together as a group, governance without government. So these both paradigms are there, where government is at the center and still managing this network, where government is not present and still the network is self-organizing to solve its own problems. So this is basically how you write an answer to this question. So you can see here, the characteristic of this answer is it is built on examples and substantiation, and still the conceptual part is not missing. You need to balance concept and example, and you need to balance paper 1 and paper 2 linkages to this as well. When you do that, you will be able to get good marks. This is end of question 1.